Dreamworks Studio's The Bad Guys is a feel-good heist flick for the whole family, with a vault full of twists, turns, and secrets you might have missed on your first go-round. So let's get crackin'. We'll start by rounding up the usual suspects. No, not those usual suspects. These guys: Wolf, the leader of the pack; Snake, the safecracker; Tarantula, the computer hacker; Shark, the master of disguise, if you can believe it; and Piranha, the wild card. Together, they're the bad guys. What makes them our usual suspects? Well, just look at them. Each member of the team is an animal with a horrendous history, especially in movies. The Grey, Snakes on a Plane, Arachnophobia, Jaws, and, well, Piranha, to name just a few. Any of those ring a bell? Well, they do for the world at large here. Just look at the fear on everyone's faces in the diner. The diner. Looks kind of familiar, doesn't it? The movie starts out here with two of the main characters, Wolf and Snake, voiced by the uber-versatile Sam Rockwell and comic complainer Mark Maron, respectively. They sit there having a cool chat about birthdays, the taste of guinea pigs, and the supersensory powers of snakes, particularly their sense of smell. Are you getting a whiff of an homage yet? Almost down to the color palette, the opening scene is a tribute to the beginning of Quentin Tarantino's Pulp Fiction, the non-linear masterpiece that starts with Pumpkin and Honey Bunny shooting the breeze before staging a robbery. Robbery? This is a cartoon for kids, yeah? Okay. Actually, it's adapted from a kids' graphic novel series of the same name by author Aaron Blabey. Oh yeah, for kids. Look at that, it says Scholastic right there. Still, there are actually quite a few differences between the movie and its source material. For instance, Wolf is also known as Mo to his friends in the books. According to the books, he and Snake have also been friends since childhood. But take a look at the scene where the whole crew gets nicked and carted off to Succum Prison. That's super ultra crazy max, I'm assuming prison. Anyway, when Wolf gets his mugshot, his birthday reads 10/19/1991. You gotta be quick for Snakes, but it reads 7/2/1965, making about a 26-year gap between the two. Did you know that Sam Rockwell and Mark Maron recorded the scenes together? Not an easy feat during the whole COVID outbreak, but the two took the necessary precautions to perform in each other's presence in order to give Wolf and Snake's relationship extra resonance. Here's another interesting detail about Snake. Look at his attire. The Hawaiian shirt and bucket hat combination are a trademark look of journalistic icon Hunter S. Thompson, the founder of the gonzo journalism movement, a type of journalism that throws away the normal conventions of objective, fact, and quote-based news stories in favor of placing the journalist at the center of the story and basing events entirely on their personal observations and feelings. It's a form of social critique and personal satire. Hunter himself has popped up in movies portrayed by the likes of Bill Murray in Where the Buffalo Roam and Johnny Depp in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. One more thing about Snake. He's giving all true anatomical facts regarding his species at the table with Wolf. Snakes actually can smell the air. He also shows us a fun example of how snakes shed their skin by shedding his disguise during the heist at the Museum of Fine Arts. The one thing that Snake can do in the movie that real snakes can't, however, is hear, but they can detect vibrations created by sounds, which is what makes him such a good safecracker. See his head up against the locking mechanism of the safe during the opening getaway? Good vibrations. Oh, one more little bonus fact. When Wolf pokes fun at Snake asking him if he can also hear color and see sound, he's actually describing a medical condition called synesthesia, where the brain mixes senses and their sensations, causing a person to experience exactly what Wolf is talking about. Speaking of talking about, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the differences between the books and the movie. One glaring difference can be found in the character of Tarantula, voiced by rapper, comedian, actor, but not bottled water Aquafina. So what's the big deal? In the comics, she's a he and his nickname is Legs, but in the film, to play more on the fact that she's a computer hacker and probably to cut down on the misogyny, her nickname was changed to Webs, like the internet, and 'cause she's a spider, hardy har har. Did you know that this isn't Aquafina's first heist flick? She stole more than just wallets. She stole scenes from her high-profile co-stars as Constance in Ocean's 8, the spin-off of the Ocean series starring Sandra Bullock as Debbie Ocean, the younger sister to master thief Danny Ocean in the series. The Bad Guys also take some stylistic and story cues from the Ocean series. Anytime we see the heist rundown, from the music to the split screens, even the final big reveal twist, these sequences mirror the operations of Danny Ocean and his crew in Oceans 11, 12, and 13. Is it really any wonder why Wolf seems like a Clooney clone himself? They both pull heists for personal reasons, by now a cliché no-no for characters in this genre. Clooney himself plays a stop-motion anti-hero in Wes Anderson's The Fantastic Mr. Fox, a heist film in its own right. Even the characters jokingly refer to Clooney with regard to Wolf. When Wolf decides to really pour on the charm for Governor Diane Foxington, Shark remarks that he's going to go the full Clooney on her, but Diane's a little too sly for that. Merely seconds later, she shoots Wolf down, saying, "Don't Clooney me, Wolf." Diane Foxington, voiced by actor Zazie Beetz, is a shift from her character in the comics, called Ellen Fox. She's taken a more political role as governor in the movie, and she's a strong proponent of turning the bad guys good. In the comics, she's a special agent in the Shadow Squad G, and originally operated in the International League of Heroes. She's also a martial arts master. See? Not one thing at all like her character in the movie. Nope, not one bit. That's not to say that she doesn't have moves of her own. Check out Fox and Wolf as they cut a rug at the gala for goodness. Did you know that even though you're watching computer-generated models, the filmmaker still enlisted the help of a professional choreographer? Not just any choreographer, but Susan Meisner, who choreographed and featured in the limited series Fosse Verdon, which starred none other than Sam Rockwell as the legendary director and choreographer Bob Fosse. Sam showed off some moves of his own in another romantic action comedy as the zany twinkle-toed ex-contract killer Francis to Anna Kendrick's Martha in Mr. Right. I don't think even Clooney's got those moves. Wolf convinces his crew to act like they're moving away from crime in order to avoid punishment after getting caught trying to steal the golden dolphin. The team is more than skeptical, of course. Shark even goes so far as to ask Wolf if he got hit in the head. He says that his cousin got hit in the head by an anchor. Sound familiar? That's because it happened in another DreamWorks animated film, Shark Tale, to the character Frankie, voiced by Michael Imperioli. So how exactly does Shark and company leave their evil ways behind? Enter Professor Marmalade, a sickeningly sweet guinea pig voiced by the hilarious Richard Ayoade. Professor Marmalade goes to work on Wolf's team, teaching them how to do good deeds. Marmalade winds up using a heist for good in an attempt to bring Wolf's team to justice. They break into a lab to liberate a gaggle of guinea pigs being used for experiments. Get a load of Wolf's disguise. He's wearing a sheep onesie. He's both literally and figuratively a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's not the only familiar wardrobe we find Wolf in. Moments earlier, Marmalade tries to get Piranha to walk Wolf safely across the street. Wolf, of course, is dressed like Old Granny, much like the evil wolf in the tale of Little Red Riding Hood. The costumes aren't the only on-the-nose references concerning Wolf. Another aspect of his training to be a good boy involves saving a kitten from a tree, an act of goodness that's become a trope, thanks to the late screenwriter Blake Snyder and his book Save the Cat, the last book on screenwriting that you'll ever need. Sly marketing. In the book, Snyder suggests the key to connecting an audience to your protagonist is to have the protagonist do a good deed in the opening moments of the film, for example, saving a cat. If you think that bit of advice is money, check out this little detail. As Wolf breaks the fourth wall and brags about how awesome his buddy Snake is, pay close attention to the shot of the $100 bills after Snake breaks into the vault. That's no Benjamin on those stacks of greenbacks. That's actually DreamWorks president Marjorie Cohn. President for now, at least. Those execs are always on the move. In that opening chase, Wolf is able to stay on the move from the Popo thanks to Tarantula. With her cyber know-how, she seizes control of the traffic lights, giving Wolf greens as far as the street will take him, just like the heist from 1969's The Italian Job, starring Sir Michael Caine. The whole chase itself is said to be a tribute to the 1968 Steve McQueen classic Bullitt, where McQueen rams around the streets of San Francisco in a 1968 Ford Mustang Bullitt GT. According to the Internet Car Movie Database, Wolf's ride is a hybrid between a Chevy Camaro, an AMC Javelin, of course a Ford Mustang, but also quite possibly a Nissan Silvia. If you want one more movie car chase reference, take a look at the absurd amount of cops on Wolf's tail. Yes, pun absolutely intended. The police force is a nod to the 1980 comedy The Blues Brothers, starring John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. Listen to the cops during the chase, and later at the gala, they even scream "Hut, hut, hut" like the police in The Blues Brothers. The head of the police department is Police Chief Misty Luggins, voiced by Alex Borstein, who might sound familiar to you. She voices a dainty lady named Lois Griffin on a little show called Family Guy. Maybe you heard of it. Chief is always one step behind Wolf and his team, and she's desperate to see him behind bars and prove herself as the head of the department. If there's anyone looking to prove themselves, it's director Pierre Perifel. Having cut his teeth as an animator and in the art department for films such as Curious George, Monsters vs. Aliens, and the Kung Fu Panda series, Bad Guys marks his animated feature debut as director, and leave his mark he did. Take a look at the wall on the right side as Wolf plows past the disguised shark at the construction site. That bold black tag reads Pierre. The tag can also be seen in the background as Diane makes her way into the bad guy's hideout. I hope you liked this video and found some awesome new details you hadn't seen yet in DreamWorks' The Bad Guys. Make sure you subscribe to Movie Logic for more daily movie facts, trivia, and Easter eggs.